Okay. Hi, everyone. Um, well, I'll bet you never thought speed dating could teach us something about fundraising. In case you're not familiar with speed dating is a structured matchmaking process designed to help people meet partners quickly. And here's how it works. You have an agency do an event setup, participants register in advance, and they come to a venue like a event space or a restaurant or bar. And then it's organized for each participant to have brief interviews, right, lasting about 5 minutes. And people talk together to see if there's some mutual interest. And at a signal, like a buzzer or whatever, everyone then rotates around and they move to the next person. And at the end of the event, participants will submit a list of people they want to see again, and potentially as a match. And the organizers send the contact information to the relevant participants. So I'm not sure how many of you actually have done this before or even are familiar with this type of meeting new people, but it's really catching on in a lot of parts of the world. And I think one of the things you're going to see this as I go through this particular session, but I want you to connect a little bit with each one of us had this feeling, in our lives where we were really looking for a connection with other people. And that's an important thing I want you to be in touch with as I talk. So let me share with you Anna's story. Anna finished her master's degree in international development and not long afterwards found a great job with a major NGO working in child protection. She took the job, she had to move to a new city and a new country. And even though she spoke the language, she didn't know anyone. And she had split up with her boyfriend about a year ago. And she was really open to meeting someone new. She saw an advertisement for a local speed dating company and with good reviews. And she said, why not give it a try? So she submitted her profile, got accepted, and got an invitation. And so she was excited but nervous. And she thought, well, this really is a great and safe way that I can meet new people that I otherwise would never have met. And I also can rapidly see those that I'm interested in and those that I'm not, right? And so what's the purpose of speed dating? Speed dating is popular because it allows people to meet many potential matches in a short time, and it makes it easier to find someone potentially compatible, right? So we meet people and learn a lot in a very brief time. And the significance is we can filter out those that we're not interested in, and then hopefully then connect with those that we feel like are a good match. So what did Anna do? She was able to screen out those she was not seeing potential with those she did. So what do we learn from speed dating in terms of fundraising? It's simply this. It is much better to take time to screen out donors where there is no good match with your organization or mission program and focus only on the best prospects. So imagine if Anna had to take 10 different dates or evenings of her time over a period of months to find out what she experienced in one night, right? So when you want to, what you want to accomplish with your organization and the donors, the needs you have for donors. You start with finding the best match of donors compatible with your organization. And this means that you've thought about the criteria you're looking for. You want to learn how to find those best possible matches with the potential donors first, so you don't waste time on other things, right? And many people don't do this work. They look for funding opportunities. And this is a critical mistake. Unless the funding opportunity leads you to want to meet and build a relationship with the donor, you're wasting your time. So I think you need a speed dating app, right? In jargon today for finding those best partners. And I call it donor mapping. It's a living exercise, and it helps you prioritize your efforts on the best prospects. So let's return to Anna. She accepted this invitation to a speed dating evening. She got to work to prepare. She took time to think about herself, her life goals, her interests, her values. She thought about what kind of person she was looking for. what really mattered most, right? So what's the number one thing, one of my number one advice that people who are experts in this area say, how to, how's the best way to do this? They say, be prepared, ask good questions. Anna understood that, and she thought about what criteria were important to her to make a match. And she used the same criteria on every person. So Anna concluded her evening and was quite happy with herself. She took a bit of effort. It took a bit of effort to ask good questions and listen carefully, but she left with 3 people she definitely wanted to get to know better. And once you've found someone that you think is compatible with you, what next? Well, how do you take the relationship further? So the point of speed dating is to find a match and then to be able to take the relationship further. Anna looked forward to hearing back from the dating agency, and it wasn't much longer than a week, and she got a call. She was able to get a call from someone she had prioritized too, and off they went on their relationship journey. So what do we learn here? If we feel we've made a match, then if you never have a follow-up meeting, there's no way to take the relationship forward. So we come back to our speed dating lessons. After screening out so you know what your best potential donors is, the most important next step is get a first meeting that hopefully leads to more. I find that many times fundraising teams apply for funding from a donor they have never met. How many of you trust people you don't know? How many of you would trust a total stranger with your money? So hear me. You reduce your chances of success by at least 50%, if not more, if you try to submit a proposal to a donor you've never met. Do you really want to work that hard for those kinds of odds? So we must meet with our potential donors and start building and maintaining a relationship. And then you start to see ongoing understanding, compatibility, connection. But all human relationships and cultivation, it's basically the same. You have to build trust through being authentic, credible, and reliable. So it takes time. And I often compare, it's one of my favorite analogies, that fundraising is kind of like gardening or farming. Well, what we learned so far with speed dating is you find a good match, get a first meeting, and then you want to grow the relationship. When you do that, you understand each other better. So I worked as a donor for an institutional donor for more than 12 years. And I know, believe me, I know what I'm talking about. A donor's job is to provide resources, but we only do that with people and organizations we know and trust, right? So the last thing we learned from speed dating, and remember my introduction, speed dating is a structured process. It's methodical and can be followed. In speed dating, people understand how it works, so they get involved and they follow along. If they don't, it doesn't work, right? So it takes effective management or it's a mess. And so if the process is a mess and people don't feel comfortable, then they get frustrated and they've been emotionally invested, and boy, you can really hurt your reputation, right? So what do we learn about fundraising in this? Have a systematic, methodical fundraising process. This is absolutely vital to fundraising success. Why is that so important? My wife and I, we love to take hikes in the mountains. And I don't know whether you love to walk in the wilderness or if you enjoy hiking or walks, but let me just say this. You never go for that kind of walk unless you choose a trail that others have prepared. And we walk where other people have walked before. You don't just go anywhere. And the other thing is I wanted to share with you that when I started my career in humanitarian and development work in West Africa, I remember so vividly understanding that if I wanted to make a difference, it really didn't matter much what I did on any given day if, in the end, my Sierra Leonean colleagues couldn't continue it themselves. long after I left. So I started asking myself this question: how can I do this work in such a way that when I'm not there, they can do it themselves? And I realized it's not just about what I did, but how I did it. So that what I did, I showed others how to follow me and to do it themselves. I may have blazed a trail, but they could follow it. And this hugely influenced my life and my entire career. You may have heard this saying, I'm sure you have: give a person a fish and feed them for a day, teach a person to fish and you feed them for a lifetime. What does this have to do with fundraising? Listen very carefully. Are you working in your fundraising in such a way that others can follow you? Why are so many people not working in a way that we can keep track of our progress, and so can others? Others we work with, those who come after us, can build on what we've done, because continuity is absolutely essential in effective fundraising and any relationship. Building and maintaining a relationship in an organizational context is going to hopefully last a lot longer than you will be in your particular role and responsibility. So I was a part of an organizational startup a few years ago. And in the first year, we had an income of about $3 or $4 million. But we grew to 50 million in less than 5 years. And there was one rule regarding our relationship management from top management and to every single employee: is if you didn't record your contacts, your meetings, your relationships regularly, you lost your job, you were fired. And I attribute that to being one of the most vital reasons why this organization is still flourishing today. So of course, you can think of speed dating as an opportunity for a one-night stand. And many people work at fundraising like this. They focus on quick money, but you know what? It doesn't last. Only when we're building trust-based relationships with our donors does it last. And you have to be organized and systematic. So what we learn from speed dating is screen out so you can focus in, get a meeting, get to know your donor, listen to their needs, build a relationship, and then be methodical and systematic so you can grow your organization, and so can others work with you and follow you. So I've worked with, for and with many different organizations over the last 35 years, including as a donor. And speed dating to me is an allegory of three things that if you do well, your organization will thrive. On the other hand, it's also an allegory of three things, if not done, make an organization at best go from crisis to crisis, and many are likely to fail. So if this speaks to you and you would like to learn more how to do this, I would encourage you to look at my course. And there you'll learn critical tools and skills in donor screening, donor engagement, relationship management, how to manage this process to grow your organization and be more successful. So thank you.